There you go.
You all see it?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So the portion that I will be speaking on is how to apply yourself and become more involved on the college campus. So, oops. Just to tell a little bit about myself, I am Nigel Miller. I'm an upcoming senior business management and marketing student from Huntsville, Alabama, a spring 19 initiate of the Delta Delta chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I am an alumni or an alumnus of the Huntsville alumni chapter of Kappa League. All right. Okay, so involvement being important to a student. The reason this is important is there's four reasons that I took down. So number one, it allows students to become connected to their school. And with that, colleges are pretty much full of resources, but the responsibility is on the student to seek them out. And being involved helps them do that. Number two, it helps you build up your community. Since these students are leaving their families and sometimes their friends behind when they go to a school that's out of state or out of their city, getting involved helps them discover new friends that have similar interests in them with the clubs that they might become involved in. Number three, it allows them to discover their passions and their strengths, and these will follow them all through their life, and it allows them to discover what they do and do not like. And number four, which is one of the most important things to me, being involved is a resume builder. And when you first come into college, freshman year isn't too early to start thinking about positioning yourself for the future with employment or pretty much making yourself marketable and strengthening your personal brand. So, some examples that you can do to increase your involvement on a college campus: you can have some on campus job or work study. You can become a member of different honor societies. You can become a part of clubs related to your major or interest for yourself. You can volunteer. A big thing that's important to me that I feel like a lot of people should do because it can assist you in the long run is getting close with your professors or important faculty on a college campus, because with that you can get a lot of insight of what's going on your school campus. For instance, there can be some scholarship money that a lot of people don't know about, but if you're cool with a close faculty, they can assist you with getting that scholarship money and can alleviate pretty much the financial burden that might come with college on your parents. Or if you're on scholarship, now you have extra money that you can put in your pocket and put towards pretty much the stuff that you would like to do. Another thing is intramural sports. If you don't have a college scholarship, but you still want to ball, you still want to hoop, you can do intramural sports, and you can still have that competitive factor and have some fun. And a big thing as well, just like talk to people. You're on a new campus, you're on a new place. There's plenty of people that you've never met before, plenty of people you've never seen before. Talking to these people, you can meet your future best friends, you can meet your best man, your groomsman at your wedding, you can meet your future wife. And in the right corner is just a few examples of some things that I've done since being on campus, being in SGA, well, things I've done on campus before, being initiated into the fraternity. I was in SGA, Collegiate 100. I chartered my chapter at Jackson State University. Charter member for that. The National Society of Collegiate Scholars, Lambda Sigma, Jackson State University's Honor Society chapter, and as well as being a barber. And a tip that I would give to a lot of people is find something that you're interested in that can help you make some money while you're in school, or find a hustle in general. Like, you don't necessarily have to cut hair. If you like shoes, clean other people's shoes. That can make a lot of money because people go to parties, they mess their shoes up when they go, they need them cleaned up. You can make a good $100 for cleaning 10 different people's shoes for $10. That's easy money. Or doing other people's homework. Don't think of yourself as a nerd if you have intelligence. If you do other people's homework, that's bread that you can make. But let me go ahead to the next slide. But those are my tips as far as for getting involved on a college campus. And being involved is very important because the more involved that you are, the more that you become known on your campus. And popularity isn't everything, but if you're known as a person that's very, very well versed on your campus, it can open a lot of doors that you might not have ever thought about that could get open. If you talk to the right person, that can land you different opportunities. For instance, me talking to people in the College of Business, that helped me represent my university going to Dale campus in Round Rock, Texas, for their Be Smart Innovation Challenge that happened in September. And with me getting that opportunity from talking to people, I actually ended up landing an internship this summer with Dale, just by off the strength of talking to people. And if you speak to the right person, you never know what type of opportunity you can get. So I have a paid internship this summer, increasing my personal brand as well as getting necessary experience with your career. If any Kappa leaguers or brothers have any questions that they have, please feel free to direct them to me. And I'll stop sharing my screen now if I can. Let me find it.
So I want to thank you, Brother Miller. And again, part of what we do is we try to bring in outstanding college students to talk to you each session. So any questions you have about being involved on campus or anything you have about being in college, please address those now to Brother Miller.
I see somebody shares my last name.
Are they able to come off mute, Brother Jackson?
Yeah, they should be able to unmute themselves.
All right.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep. Go ahead.
Well, how was your college experience?
So I'm actually going into my senior year of college, but my college experience it's been a blast, to be honest. My freshman year was like, okay, so most people's freshman year is really eventful, to be honest. That's where people they first start getting their feet wet as far as you're away from home, you get that first bit of freedom. So shoot, you finna turn up, to be honest. But with me, my freshman year, like I said, I cut hair. So I used my freshman year to kind of sit back and observe things a little bit more. So for instance, like while I was cutting hair a lot, I still was also observing what's going on campus. Like I went out, I had my fun for sure, but I didn't get involved as much as I knew that I had the potential to my freshman year just because I was watching. But going into my sophomore year, that was a game-changing year just because that's when I started getting into SGA. That's when I helped charter Collegiate 100. That's when I crossed for Kappa. And junior year, that was a good year. That was my neo year with Kappa. Still did SGA, had fun, met a whole lot of new people. Just so coming into my senior year, I'm just looking. I mean, COVID has messed up a few things, but assuming that we do get to go back on campus in the fall and in the spring, I'm just looking to cap off my at least undergraduate college career with a bang. So it's been a blast. Definitely have had a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of stories that can come out of my college experience for sure.
Thank
you. I have a question.
Go ahead.
So how did you adjust to college life?
Okay. So with me adjusting to college, like when upon me graduated school, like I was ready to go. I'm not even gonna lie, because shoot, we all young men, we know how our parents can get as you get a little older. Like you're ready to go. So when I first got onto campus, like it was like, okay, I'm in a whole new big world. So I was always told, like, talk to people, you never know who you can meet. So while I'm kind of more of a calm individual, but I'll be chilling. But at the same time, I use that time to just speak to everybody and figure out, okay, who can I be cool with, who can be my circle, or who might have a different type of interest as me. So as far as me adjusting, it wasn't really hard. I found a few people that I can be cool with. There was a few people from my city that went to school with me. So I stayed around them a little bit, but I still ended up doing my own thing. So pretty much getting into that conversation with other people that I had never met, that helped me adjust and just going to everything and talking to upperclassmen. My freshman year, a lot of my friends were older than me. So when you get cool with a lot of people that's older than you, that assists you in getting well-versed on campus, because the upperclassmen, they end up knowing everybody. They know the people that's older, they know the people that's younger. So that played a big part of me getting adjusted as well.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
How did you manage your time in college versus high school?
That's a great question. Okay, so high school, I was a student athlete, so I played football, and so as a student athlete, you have class from let's say 8 to 3, and then practice from about 4 to 6, 4 to 7, not including workouts. When you get to school, I'm not a student athlete anymore, and classes are really spread out. So you might have 2 classes or 3 classes a day, and that's it. But one class could be at 8, the other class can be at 1, and your other class is at 2:30. So you have a whole lot of time you can use to get into different things. So it's really about blocking off a lot of time. Me, a thing that I continue to do, and I did do, I use my phone and my reminders to pretty much I put when all my classes are in my reminders, and then if I have a meeting or something, I add that into my reminders. So I pretty much have a recollection of what all I have to do on that day, and then in those free spaces, I can choose to either, for instance, at Jackson State we had a plaza. So the plaza is where everybody chills out at on campus. So I can either choose, do I want to chill in the plaza? Do I want to go to the student center? Okay, I know I have homework, or I know I have a test coming up. So it's really a big thing about decisions. My freshman year, I actually ended with a 4.0. So with having a 4.0 freshman year, that came a lot with really focus and proper time management. So I'd say pretty much utilizing technology with calendars and reminders and stuff like that.
Again, Brother Miller, I appreciate you and appreciate you being on, and appreciate your words of wisdom. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
We had a little bit of a change in the agenda. Brother McCaleb, I'm going to ask that you go next, and you should be able to share a screen if you need to. Brother McCaleb.
Yep. Can you hear me, Kev?
I can hear you now.
Perfect. All right. Good evening, gentlemen. Feel free to come off of mute if there's not a lot of noise in your background. I definitely want to, can you hear me, Kev? Yeah, okay.
We're good.
Okay. I definitely want you to be involved. This is not for me or practice to present. This is for you and for information as you get ready to head off to college. So with that, I'll go ahead and share. Let's see. I think I shared the wrong one, but it's okay. Can you see the full presentation, or do you see my slides?
I see your slides.
Yeah, wrong screen.
Yeah, hang on. Sorry about that, brothers.
That's that double screen.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So, can I shrink this? I can. That's good. Because I can't see the students.
Negative.
There we go. Okay. Now that I dealt with all the technical issues. So, the reason I want you to come off of mute, and again, please come off of mute. So, how many students do you see in the picture? Can I get somebody to answer?
Five.
5, right. Okay. How many males do you see in the picture?
2.
2.
Yep. Thank you. That's right. Because unfortunately, there's 3 males in that picture. All right. You see it now?
Oh, okay.
But out of the 3 males that go to college, only one of these 3 are going to actually graduate in 6 years. That's the measure that they counted on. And the funny thing is there's lots of research out there that tells us why this is, but nobody's doing anything to fix it. So I'm going to share with you the keys to graduating. And it's going to sound a lot like Brother Nigel's presentation, because it's true. All right. Here's the keys. And I'm not going to read those to you. I will share this with you afterwards, so you can always have this with you. And if you ever need anything, I would encourage you to reach back to your Kappa League chapters or to us for guidance, because we are going to be part of that one campus community with you. Okay. So what do I mean by on campus community? All right. So I mean staff, I mean your faculty members or your teachers, the professors, and your fellow students. Why do you think it would be important, right? Everybody understands why it's important to get to know your faculty members and your fellow students. Why would you want to know the staff members?
The reason why you want to know the staff first, because they have more knowledge, more wisdom, and you can use that knowledge and wisdom to speak with the fellow students.
It's a good reason. What's another reason you might want to know the staff members?
They might have connections for you for the future.
Devin, I'm sorry, can you repeat?
They might have future connections to help you in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Future connections, build your network. That's good too. Anybody else? Why would you want to know staff?
Somebody that has a lot of experience that can like guide you down the right path.
That's true. That's true as well. Is that Ethan?
No, it's Austin Murphy.
Hey,
Sorry.
Austin. So also, right, because I'm always going to give you, the good and the great. So all of those answers were great answers. Here's one good thing that you didn't think about. Who runs the bookstore?
Ooh.
Not who works at the bookstore, who runs it. Usually, that's staff. Who runs the cafeteria? Usually, that's staff. So if you need a favor from somebody, usually that's going to be a staff member. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is super important that you have students in your community, but those students have to be doing what you're doing, right? You got to be committed to graduate. And your community, the people you hang around, are going to mirror you. So if you're hanging around people that are going to the labs, you're going to go to the labs. If you're hanging around people that are skipping class to hoop, you're going to go hoop. It's just how it is. Next key is health. And everybody knows, right, why it's important to exercise, right? Give me one reason why you should physically exercise.
Because it will help you better for your long-term health, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that.
Your physical health or your diet can alter your mental health.
Yep, that's good. That's good.
It's good to clear your mind.
Yep.
Releases stress.
Perfect. So you guys already know this, right? So we won't have any problems with exercise. And you kind of talked about the next important thing, which is mental health. In our community, it's kind of a stigma or looked down upon to say, hey, I need some help, right? But it's okay, right? College is going to be stressful. I guarantee that. I'm in college right now, again, and it is just as stressful as it was the first time. So you got to do things to take care of your mental health, like exercise. What's something else you could do to help with mental health?
You can study, keep your mind sharp.
Study.
Read a book.
Read a book.
Socialize,
Meditate.
but not too much.
Socialize is good, right? Good outlet.
Meditate.
Meditate is good. Okay. So you guys are on target here, right? So now we're physically strong, we're mentally stable and strong. And I would tell you, if it gets to be overwhelming, it's okay. And there is a space on campus that you can go go over to the student health center and ask for help. And it is private. They will not even tell your parents, right? That's okay. That's why it's there. That's why it's paid for. It's not even free. It might be free to you, but somebody's paying for it, okay? And then the last thing I want to share on health is get involved, right? We live in a weird, that's what I'll say, time. If you want to see change on campus, be the change. Why else is it important to get involved on campus?
You're exposing yourself to the student body and making yourself well known. Just expanding your interests.
Yep, it's good. Anybody else?
So you get to know others and what their interests are,
Yep.
and see if you have similar interests, so we can work together or
Perfect.
collaborate.
Perfect. Teamwork, team building, that's great too. And also, right, you're going to college, most of you, to get a job. Well, when you graduate, you're going to say, I have a degree. And when somebody old like me is there hiring, I'll say, well, everybody has a degree. What else? If you can say, oh, I was the president of the Black Student Union, or I was the president of the student union, right? You can run for that government as well. Or I led a Read to Elementary program. That shows that one, you care about something more than yourself, and two, you have other transferable skills to differentiate yourself. I believe the brother before me called that building your brand, right? You want to be thinking about, does this help me or does this hurt me? Okay. The next thing is use your resources, all right? And the reason I put the money there is when you get to college, you're going to be amazed at how many credit card offers you get. You're going to be amazed at how, much other things you have access to. Well, you got an extra $5,000 student loan money left over. Do you take it? Who here would take the money if it's your student loan? Okay.
No,
No? Why wouldn't you take it?
it adds on to your debt.
Because it's a loan. Because if you take that loan, in the future, you got to pay that loan back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good, young man. That is very good. I can tell you that's something that I got wrong when I went to college the first time, right? If they approved me for $10,000, well, I took $10,000, even if I only needed $4, right? And just like you said, when I got out of college, I had a debt and it started accruing interest right when I took it, most of it, okay? Next secret to all of this is labs, right? So there's a writing lab on every campus. What do they do at the writing lab? Cool. So they read your papers and suggest edits.
Oh.
There's grad students there. Some are studying for master's degrees and PhDs, and they have tools. Some of those tools, like Google Translate and some of those thesaurus tools, and some that you don't know. And they just read papers and help undergraduates become better writers. So if you have somebody read your paper and suggest edits, your grade's probably going to go up, right? Same exact thing for math. For those of you that struggle in math, go to math tutoring. The person that's your TA, the teaching assistant in your regular math class, probably to shift at the math lab. And if you go over there, they will give you free help and probably put a good word in for your teachers, right? Build your brand and it'll pay off. Trust me. So in closing, like I said, guys, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun, but you can't have too much fun. Right? Got to moderate that. 1 in 3 of you are going to graduate. Is that going to be you? We hope so. We hope so. I'll send this out to you so that you have access to this, as well as a survey that you can take in my information if you want to talk about the results of the survey. But that survey will expose your strengths to you, just so you kind of have some confidence as you get ready to head into college. Any questions for me? Okay. Well, if there are none, Brother Burnett, thank you so much for having me. I will turn it back over to you.
Sure, and I'll just say for our session, Brother McCaleb is very modest, so he talked about going back to school, but what he didn't say is he's got his master's degree and he's working on his PhD right now. So with that, moving forward, our next presentation will be Brother Boston Hill. Do you want to share your screen or?
My screen. Okay. So what you see, last time I was on, we spoke about time management. A lot of the things that the other brothers spoke about as well were some of the tips. I spoke a lot about what you need to think about as far as dividing your time and how you should treat college like it's your full-time job. So when you think about how you want to put things in order, and how much time you're going to spend on a particular thing, if you treat college like it's your job, then dividing your time should be somewhat easy. Again, your job from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever time you want to work on, and then you slot in your activities within that time frame throughout the course of a given day. So what you see in front of you is a way to prioritize, because what time management really is, we're talking about prioritizing the things that the activities that you're going to have throughout the course of a day. So you have this 4 box matrix. In the upper quadrant, on the upper left quadrant, you have things that are urgent and important. Obviously, those are things you want to take care of right away, devote the most time to, the most energy to. You going clockwise, you go right over next to that, things that are not so urgent, but they are important. So they are things that you need to take care of, but you have a little bit more time to address it. Coming back down to quadrant 3 in the bottom left, things that aren't important and that might be a distraction. So they might actually be urgent. So they are important to you, but they don't really have to get taken care of right away, right? So you want to think about things that aren't really important, but they are urgent, things that will happen, that pop up from time to time. Yes. Okay. Then you have in the last quadrant, quadrant 4, things that just aren't important, aren't urgent. So obviously you want those things, those events, those activities should be at the bottom of the list. But unfortunately, those are things that end up becoming time wasters. Like when you're spending time on playing the new video games, or you're watching other people's Instagram accounts or things like that. Those are time wasters. So we have to figure out how can we shift our thinking and reprioritize the events that happen over the course of a day and maybe even the course of a week. Okay, let me see. So I'll entertain any questions. Right? Were we able to get the chat opened again?
I'm trying to see. Ben, can you do that? Ben, are you on?
Sorry, not able to do that as a co-host.
I made you the host.
Oh.
Not a problem. What we can do is we can just do this.
Hey Ben, do you know how to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you bear with us, Kevin, just for a second.
Not a problem. Like I said, not a problem. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this verbally. So I'm just going to go ahead and reshare my screen. Okay. So now these are the events or the activities I was going to put in the chat for you guys to open up and to download, and so you can have it in front of you. But we'll go over this individually at this point. The idea is you look at the activity, look at the event that's taking place, and try to determine which of those 4 quadrants would this event fall under. So would it be quadrant 1, which is urgent and important? Would it be quadrant 2, which is not urgent, but it's important? Or quadrant 3, not important, but it is urgent? Or quadrant 4, it's not urgent, not important, something that we don't really need to take care of. Okay, so let's look at the first one. You stay up late to cram for an exam the next morning. What quadrant does that fall under?
1.
Urgent.
1,
Yeah,
1, 2, 1.
That would be urgent. It's urgent and important. I mean, it's an exam that you have tomorrow, so it's urgent. Urgent deals with a time factor, and it's important because that's the whole reason why you're in school, to pass your exams. So that would be a quadrant 1 thing, exactly. What about number 2? A friend calls you to tell you they are sick and need a ride to the doctor immediately.
1.
1.
Urgent.
Okay, again, it deals with the time factor. It immediately is urgent. They need to get there, and you don't know what's happening to them, and so you may need to go ahead and get them to the doctor right away. So that's a real thing. You might actually be in this situation where you're cramming for an exam, but your friend calls you to get a ride to the doctor. Which are you going to do? Something that you may be faced with, a situation you may be faced with. They're both quadrant 1s, but which one takes the priority? And that's something the answer is going to be different for everybody.
Brother Hill,
Yes.
I'd like to hear 1 or 2 answers to that. That's a good question right there.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So if any of you are faced with this situation where you're in the middle of studying for a midterm that's the next day, but your best friend calls you and says, "Yo, I'm not feeling well," and you're the only one between your close friends that has a car, and they need to get to the doctor immediately because the campus infirmary isn't going to do it. So you need to go off campus and get to the nearest hospital. But you got this big midterm tomorrow. What do you do?
What I'll do personally, I'll take my friend to the doctor. Because if I'm the closest one and none of my other friends can do it, like I would ask them, can anybody else do it first?
Yeah.
And if they can't do it, then yeah, I'm going to take my friend to the doctor because you never know. I could be the difference between him or her, between living and dying.
Okay. And like I said, that's a real situation. It could happen to any of us. And you have to be able to juggle which one is more important to you at that moment. So which of those quadrant 1s events is going to take precedence in that moment? Okay. Number 3, you have a group project due tomorrow that's not finished.
1.
Urgent.
1.
Yes.
1. Yes.
Okay, that's the quadrant 1. I'm going to actually skip a little bit here. You start working on a homework assignment as soon as it is assigned.
4.
Not urgent.
That depends on like the due date though.
Yeah, that does depend on due date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Hold on.
I think it's important, but it's not urgent.
It's not urgent. Yep.
No, yeah, it's important, not urgent.
Okay, see, it's good that you're talking this out, and that's what you need to do when you come up with particular situations, because again, you only have a certain amount of time in every day. And once those minutes, those seconds, and those hours tick away, you can't get those back. So you need, how am I going to utilize my time in the best way possible? So you may need to talk out these situations. So like I said, well, starting homework is important, but it's not due right away, so it's not all that urgent. So
It also might depend on the person too. Like they might want to get it out the way, so it might be urgent to them.
True, and it might be urgent to them. It all depends on what your situation. You're absolutely right. You may know that based on your calendar that you keep in your phone or wherever, that a couple of days from now you're booked and you may be able to get to this assignment. So you may decide to go ahead and do it now so that you don't find yourself in a jam later on. Okay. You spend hours in bed binge watching Netflix.
4, time wasting.
4.
It could be urgent though. It might be a good show.
The show, right? Because be real, it depends on what people are talking about. You may want to be part of the conversation. And man, in the student union, that's what the hangout spots. And so you may find that if everybody's talking about there's one talking about the Mandalorian, I don't think it's on Netflix, but they're talking about different shows. They want to be part of that conversation. And so you decide to, I'm going to carve out some time and binge watch. The next time I'm sitting with everybody, I can talk about it too. But again, it's going to be a different answer for everybody. Let's see. Similar to that, you and your friends schedule a movie night for the upcoming Thursday night.
3.
3.
Okay. That's good. So I mean, again, it's not really important, but it may be urgent to you all because again, you're with your friends. So there's something that you want to make sure that you all are together on. All right. And the last one, a new video game comes out and you just have to play it all night as soon as you buy it.
4.
4.
4.
Yeah, 4.
That PS5 talking to me.
Yeah, that was the last one. I like this one here. Number 8. Friend shows up at the library while you're doing homework and wants to tell you all about their weekend.
4.
That's definitely 4.
That's
4.
definitely. Yeah.
4.
I think it depends on like what it is, how serious the conversation is.
They're trying to tell
Yeah, so let me, Brother Boston Hill, if I can add into that one.
Yep.
Instead of a friend, what if it's an attractive female friend? So,
Oh, that's a game changer.
So boring.
That's a 3 or 2.
I might do. I think it depends on how much time I have in the library.
or it depends on how attractive.
Yeah,
For sure.
Might be the one that everybody else has been trying to get her number, and she came by to you, and you only have a certain amount of time to speak to her before she's gone for good.
Yeah, that's super urgent.
That's like a 2.
Super important.
That's like a 1 or 2.
1, 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother Hill, how I got around that when I went to college a million years ago was I studied where nobody else that knew me was. So I went to a giant college and I knew all the veterinarian students studied at this one place. And I was a business major. And I just go hide because none of my friends were smart enough to be vets.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. And I mentioned that last week to the Kappa Leaguers who are on, that you need to find several places that you're going to study. Some of those places are going to be because you never know who's going to be in certain places. So you find multiple places that you can study so that you can be away from your friends, so that you can focus on what you need to do. And you do multiple places because your favorite spot, when you go back to it, might be somebody else's favorite spot too. And you find it is being occupied at the moment. So then you got to go to plan B. But you definitely want to develop those things as you go. What you see in front of you now is something that you can also just think about planning. And I'm going to share these documents a little bit later on as well. But this is how you're going to plan your week, right? We know that there are 168 hours in a week, no more, no less. You got 168 hours to work with. Now you start plugging in what you're going to be doing during the course of the week. How many classes are you taking? So how many credit hours are you taking per semester? Usually it's going to be about 15. Some people, it might be more than, might be 16, might be 17, might be 18, might be 12. So whatever your answer is, you'll put in here for credit hours. How long are you going to study? Typically, it's recommended that for every hour of class, you spend 2 hours studying. So you'll put this in here. How much are you going to sleep? Yeah, I know the 7-8 hours, that might be a pipe dream for some people. I don't think I get more than 6, but that's me. But then again, that's something you'll have to put that in here as well. You think about your meals. How much time are you going to spend eating each of your meals throughout the course of a day? Is it going to be half an hour here, an hour there? So you want to think about that, because that's all time. How long, this is important. How long are you going to take getting yourself ready in the morning? Are you going to be like the typical college student who kind of rolls out of bed and throws on some sweats and runs to class? Or are you going to really take a little time to jump in the shower and brush your teeth and do all those things to freshen up before you walk into class? That's going to take time out of your day. The de-stressing activities, that's also important. You need to, because they spoke about, one of the brothers spoke about your mental health and your physical health. So you have to think about those things. Are you going to have a part-time job? Are you going to volunteer? Are you going to be part of clubs and activities and things? So all these things you see, these are all things that are going to eat into that 168 hours. Once you total everything up, are you going to be at 168? Are you going to be less than 168? Are you going to be more than 168? So that if you're more, then obviously you need to rethink what you're doing, because you can't spend more than 168 hours in a week. It just is not possible. At least I haven't figured it out yet. When you figure it out, let me know, because I'm sure you'll be able to make a whole lot of money marketing it if you are able to figure that out. And then you have to want to think about some of the other things that may be time wasters and things like that. So again, looking at that priority matrix will help solve some of these hour problems where things are where you're going to spend your time. Okay. So with that, I will pause and entertain any questions that people may have. And I guess I should preface or set this up, because I didn't do it previously. For anybody who wasn't on the call last week, I'm actually not only just a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, but I'm also a professor at a university here in New York. And so I work with college students all the time, and I kind of give them some of the similar pieces of advice when it comes to time management and so forth. Actually, I did a similar workshop to this for some of the rising seniors going into college as freshmen this year now. So.
Brother Hill, I also would like to share with the students.
Well, hold on. I think we had a question, Thomas. Is there a question?
Yeah, I had a question.
Sure.
With the girl in the library, what would you do?
The girl, what would I do? Well, I'll tell you what I did, because this situation actually did happen to me. Look, I actually packed up my books and spent a couple and took a little time to talk to the young lady, and I'm glad that I did, because like I said, that in that situation there were other people on campus. Like, everybody that I was speaking to was trying to get with her, but she wasn't giving anybody the time of day. And like I said, I was studying and she happened to walk by the table, so I said, I took a chance, and it so happened that she purposely walked by the table because she saw me there, and she actually was too shy to come up to me. So I took it upon myself to go to her. So it ended up working out. And actually, we ended up studying together. So I didn't really lose any study time. I just gained another advantage.
My boy. Yeah.
Oh, and this was all before I became a Kappa as well. So it had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Caleb?
Thank you.
Yeah, just one other thing to add. Great presentation, Brother Hill. If you work hard and keep your grades up, your part-time job need will disappear. Not may disappear, will disappear. If you get 3, 4, 5, 6, you will be scholarship eligible more than your tuition and room and board. You will not need a part-time job.
Yep, that is so true. That is so true, because a lot of people don't realize that you can apply for scholarships after you've already been in college. It's not just coming into college, but once you're there, because people lose scholarships. People come in as freshmen with scholarships in hand, but then because they don't maintain the necessary GPA, they lose those scholarships. So that money gets turned back into the pool. And so people who are established in school, sophomores, juniors, if you have a high enough GPA, you can apply for that scholarship money.
To
Thank you.
wrap this up, I do have some things I want to cover as we wrap this up. One is, hopefully everybody can see my screen. You had a homework assignment from last week, and one was question: are you an early bird or a night owl? I saw some people, but they didn't. They went to the Google Classroom. They really didn't kind of answer. So some people want to tell me who took that survey. Are you an early bird or night owl? And I get a couple of answers.
I'm an early bird. I wake up early.
Early bird.
5 or 6.
I'm a night owl.
Night owl. All right. Anyone else?
I didn't take it, but I would say I'm kind of both.
Early.
All right. Good. The second thing was to take the survey on your study habits. What did you, anyone who did that want to tell me what they got out of it?
My study habit is like study all the time before like the important exam or test.
Okay. All right.
I usually cram in like what's is important, and that usually I would like read a book that my teacher assigns me. I try to see what's important in that book and try to write it down in a notebook.
I would say study a little bit every day until the assignment or test or whatever.
All right. The last thing we had was cooking. So I had at least a few minutes before, I had some folks that did complete the cooking assignment and turned in their pictures. There's Ty. Good job. Peyton. And Justin. Again, good job. So gentlemen, one of the things, I ask you to do, and each time we'll have an assignment, and they're not difficult assignments. They don't take a long time. I would ask that you complete the assignments. If you missed or didn't do the assignment before, I've sent you the information. You can go back and redo the assignment. And, for those who, you know, you get out of things what you put into it. So I can tell you that the ones that are doing the assignments and the ones that I see participating, you know, that will mean something when we come to the end of these 6 sessions. And there'll be some recognition, you know, that you'll get that the ones that just sit on here and didn't do anything, you know, won't get. And that'll be the same way pretty much throughout life. You get out of things what you put into it. But again, so you will have 3 assignments. Again, they'll be simple. If you haven't done the past assignments, you know, then I would urge you to go back and just indicate, you know, one, we went back and we talked about it here. Indicate, are you an early bird or night owl? And there's a spot on Google Classroom to do that. There was a study habits, you know, quiz to take. Give me the results of that. If you haven't put up your cooking picture, put up your cooking picture. All right. None of this should take more than 15 minutes of your time. So anyway, gentlemen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on the call and participating. And again, I thank the brothers who, who presented tonight. And hope you all have a good rest of the week and a good, safe rest of the week. So, gentlemen, good night.